You're listening to the Future of Convenience podcast, featuring senior retail executives and experts in the global convenience and mobility industry. Welcome to the Future of Convenience podcast. I'm Carolyn Schnare, and I'm joined by my co-host, Harry Milloff. How you doing, Harry?
Hey, Carolyn. How are you?
I'm doing great today. So today we're going to jump right into the realm of food service, and Harry, CEO of the Mosely Group, and I are going to explore what it takes to envision and launch a program.
I spend a lot of time talking with senior operators, and the question has changed. It's no longer just whether the network works, it's whether it lets you scale the technologies that actually move the P&L. That's where Mako Network stands apart. Beyond secure, compliant networking for fuel and convenience, Mako built the Makoverse. The Makoverse is a way for operators to deploy and scale things like retail media, video analytics, and in-store applications across hundreds of sites without rebuilding the network every time. Less friction, faster rollouts, real impact. Learn more at makonetworks.com.
So, Harry, it's great to be with you again. We're just getting our best food convenience store in the world competition rolling again for its third year. And who better to talk about food concepts than you as we roll into this food season? So I want to jump right in because we have a ton of questions for our guest. And since you envisioned this topic and enticed our guest to join us, would you do the honors of kicking us off?
Definitely. Well, Carolyn, I'm very excited for today. I had the opportunity to meet Mike, our guest, and his team just a couple months ago. And I learned about, some of their near-term goals. They're really looking towards optimizing their stores and really with a big focus on food service. And, now I know just so many retailers all around the world are thinking about making this exact same move. And I thought it would be a great opportunity for a two-part series. And I don't know if you've ever done a two-part series in this podcast, but this is something that, today I really want to focus on the strategies and the objectives and what that ingoing journey looks like. And I'd love in sometime next year to regroup with Mike and you, Carolyn, and talk about how the business has changed and any advice that he might have for other retailers that are embarking on this same journey. And I just think it's a really exciting time, and I wanted to capture it in today's recording. So with that, Mike Wagstaff, president of Holiday Oil, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Wonderful. Well, Mike, as Carolyn said, we do have a lot to talk about with you, and I guess I'll just like to jump right in. Could you give us a quick snapshot of Holiday Oil? Who you are, where you play, what makes this company distinctive?
Yeah, so we are in Salt Lake City, Utah, little Utah. A lot of times we're growing up, but we have some great C-stores here in Salt Lake, great competitors. So right now we have 78 locations. We have been around since 1964. We really came from, my father started the company, but we really came from a fuel distribution side, right? We really were focused on the gas side of things. We've always been focused on high volume in whatever we do. So as we transition from being just truly a gas station to becoming a convenience store, we now have car washes. So as we've done that, we've always focused on being the best at what we do. And so that's where, for whatever reason, this food thing has become something that we're not so good at, that I'd really like to get better at it. And so that's really what started the journey for us.
Harry, this is certainly a story we've heard before once or twice. So I think this is a really cool journey we're going to take.
It is. And, I agree. I mean, there's just so many that can relate to this. And I guess, Mike, was there a specific moment or a series of moments that really changed where food service stopped being optional and you really thought to yourself, we need to get in the game?
Yeah, so specifically, I joined some peer groups, and that was a real eye-opener. I'll go back in my history, of 30 years of doing this. Food has always been one of those things that we just can't put our finger on it, just can't do it what I would say the right way. We've always done traditional C-store food, the roller grills and so forth, to some degree of success in those different areas. But as my eyes, if you will, have been opened to how some other companies are able to do this. And for me, one of the major drivers is with fuel, we just don't know what's going to happen in fuel. And because our company constantly focuses on continually getting better, We want to improve. And so for me personally, it was like, what will happen if something happens to fuel in the future? If it totally changes, the paradigm changes, and we have great C stores. We have our own distribution network. We have a lot of things going for us. So food felt like that natural thing that we needed to become better at, to be able to stand on our own, that convenience store really needed to stand on its own. And so that's really that enlightening moment was, man, over the years, we just can't do it right. And then I've been able to meet some companies that do it right. And so my eyes were opened by seeing how these companies that do it right were done. And so that really is what's made the change and focus for us to get into the food business.
It's amazing. And, it's interesting just hearing about some of the background and that your father started the business, years ago. And, when embarking on food service, it's culture just plays such a big role. Your team members and how the pride and passion that goes into the day to day and how that really leads towards success in food and beverage programs. And I was wondering if you might just be able to talk to us a little bit about the culture at Holiday Oil and how you see that playing a role within the future food programs.
Yeah, so we have an amazing culture here. A lot of times I hope that I don't jinx something right by changing it. Really, I mean, we have amazing tenure of people that have been around for a long time, and we've done a great job in so many different aspects. So as we go forward, to be able to say, well, how do we change this, right? And to be honest, I mean, we've tried to change and become better in food many, many times. And so this go around, what really I think the dedication from my level on down is that we started with our board and we said, all right, if we're going to be a food company, we need to have somebody on the board that's a food expert. So that was step number one for us. And we've already hired somebody that's an expert in food that's on our board. Next step was to hire a food director. And so we've started that process. Again, our board member has been the one involved in those interviews to help us make sure that we're not overlooking or missing the mark there when it comes to food. We've also started at the beginning of this year, right? We have different initiatives every year, and food was one of the initiatives this year. So we've focused a lot about communicating to our team members, this is where we're going. And it's not going to happen right now here today, but we will become a food company over the next several years. We're already in food, but we need to up our game and get much better with that. So we've been trying to communicate to the whole company. And it's amazing when I go around to stores, right? I already hear this rumbling. You're going to make us do what? Yeah, we don't want to do that. So you already feel the pushback, right? Because change is hard. But overall, I think we've got the majority of our team members that are saying, yeah, we see why we need to pivot. We see why we need to become better in food. So I think that's been hopefully when we meet again in a year, right, to be able to say that's why we were successful is because of some of these things we started off with from the top all the way down and trying to communicate through the whole company.
So, Mike, when you talked about the competition and just having to really keep up, you've been talking with other operators, seeing what they're doing. So, how much of your decision is offense versus defense? And what has been your strategy on taking that all in and what do you do with it?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I would say in our market, we have a few competitors that are really good at what they do in food, much better than us, but yet we've been able to be successful even with that happening, right? We've still been able to be successful. And so it feels like we've really been just in this kind of defensive mode of, well, we're okay. We're fine. We're still profitable. We're okay doing what we're doing against the competitors we're competing against now. But as I've been able to meet with other companies outside of our market and seeing what they do and how they do things and realizing that to control our own destiny and who we want to become, we really needed to become more offensive minded and really have a different, I guess, mindset, if you will, of who we are as a company. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the year, I refer to us as a food company, and we will become a food company as we move forward. And so I think there's just so many things that way of being more offensive minded about taking control or taking charge in where we're going instead of saying, while we're reacting to competitors all the time. We're going to pick our own direction. We're going to pick our own menu. We're going to pick our own things that we're going to do. And that just feels better as a company to be more offensive minded than defensive minded.
Mike, you have shared the success of the business, and a lot of things have gone really well over the years. And I think that your comment also around change is tough, and hearing from your team members is really relevant. And I'm curious just how you personally balance your legacy strengths with the need to evolve, and are there certain elements of holiday oil that you feel are not going to change and are going to really remain tried and true throughout this level of transformation?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so becoming a food company, what does that exactly entail? And I guess I don't know exactly, right? I feel like there's a lot of things I don't know what I don't know. And so as we go forward here, I feel like we're learning so many new things. Some of the core things of who Holiday is, though, I don't think will ever change. We believe we use kind of some of the terminology about fueling people. We always want to make people better. And I think this is one of those things. We ask people to own their place. And so we've always talked about just managing. One of my friends called it Cokes and Smokes, right? Just traditional C-store items instead of food. And so now when we say own your place, it's going to be owning, our food business. And so that will change. We're still going to drive performance and trying to be better at each of those areas. We've always focused on volume per outlets and things and our gross profit. So I think now food will just become a major element in that. Instead of just being wrapped in the convenience store, that will truly be broken out and stand on its own. We always serve our purpose, right? And everybody has a little bit, but at Holiday, our purpose is to make those around us better. And then we choose to, we use the terminology ignite play, but we choose to have fun at Holiday Oil. And so we really try to instill that. So I think food again will be another one of those things that now we can add that into what we already do about making the community a better place, and they feel good when they come into Holiday Oil. We laugh a lot of times if those who remember I think it was the '80s sitcom, Cheers, where everybody knows their name. That's kind of what we feel like at Holiday, that, we have the same customers coming in all the time. And so you really do have this community feel when you come into our stores. And I think by adding food and a better layout, maybe even seating where people can stay longer, we're just changing kind of our paradigm of what a convenience store really is into the future.
So let me ask you on that, because I think that you said something really interesting. Just you talked about how the employees are slow to change for culture. Like, I mean, customers in a way have their own culture. So do you think, are you seeing now, or do you think that you'll even just see, well, obviously, hopefully, many, many more customers. That's the goal. But
Yes.
seeing any difference from your current loyal customers? Are they excited? Are they curious? Are they clueless? Like, are they
Yeah.
just,
Well,
they don't understand what
it
convenience
is.
stores have food?
Yeah, no, I think that's a very valid thing. And obviously, our hope, our goal is that we just add new customers. We hope that people will come in specifically for our food. Right now, we have a great following, for all of our convenience store items that we have now. And so, how do we add that element to somebody wants to come to Holiday Oil because we have great food? Right. We've already started the journey a little bit. About 2 years ago, we started added in some drive ups or drive throughs. We call them our sip shops. And we've added hand scooped ice cream, of all things, Bluebell ice cream. And just going through that little bit of a process change, it really is interesting that some stores do better than others. And you would think the kind of the customer base is very similar, but it's amazing. Again, back to culture and people. Our individual managers at those stores can make such a difference in their attitude towards our programs, our food, and what we're doing. So back to that culture thing, I think is a huge piece in what we do, and they influence our customers. And so we try to take care of all of our team members first and foremost, and then it feels like the rest takes care of itself.
I really like how you describe the future as being a food business, and the way that you're thinking about that, and how it can impact all sorts of different areas of your store. You're describing indoor seating and different elements. And I'm just curious, how do you see becoming a food business impacting other areas of your store? And do you see other opportunities that might be kind of in addition to selling food, that food can offer your store experience?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I think right now, what we have done at Holiday, when we found something that works well, so we're really known for our fountain drinks. I mean, our selection, our quality, we lean into stuff big time. When it works, we lean into it. And so our fountain slushy, we just have a ton of options for people. Candy, our beer caves, right? Energy drinks. We probably are, yeah, candy. I can't tell you how many more feet we have probably than our closest competitor, just because we really lean into what we do well. So I see this as an opportunity to really diversify from some of those things, and being able to potentially cut back a little bit of what we're doing, where we've gone a little bit, in my opinion, excessive in some of those areas, and utilizing that space better for what we do, and then being able to add that gross profit from the C store. And now, again, regular C store customers coming in for a treat with their kids after their soccer game. I don't see that as being different, other than, well, maybe they'll get, some chicken fingers or pizza when they come in addition to their treat. So that's where hopefully we're adding to what we have and not taking away from.
Mhm. And, as you develop this program, is it something that you look at for new growth and new locations that are being built, and or is it something that you see moving across your existing portfolio?
So yeah, another great question, because that's what, for us being, a legacy business, been around 60 plus years, we have a lot of sites that probably don't have the capacity, just the square footage, to make some of these food programs work. And so this is another great opportunity, I think, for us to be able to look at our whole portfolio and say, what stores really can handle this? Where does it make sense? Where does it not make sense? Do we do a smaller, if you will, a holiday light that only has certain elements of food? Do we have some stores that just cannot function the way we are, and we need to do something different with those locations? This is another, for me, another great opportunity to really go through all of our whole company and make another assessment of where we should be going on into the future. It feels really obvious when you look at it from a big picture. We see our bigger, higher volume locations. That's just the future and where we need to go, what we need to do. It's really hard to kind of make changes with some of these other smaller locations, and they might even be profitable locations, but at the end of the day, they're not adding enough and they take away from the overhead and focus of what we're doing. Um, so that will be the real key, I think, as we go forward, food focused, and we have a similar, if not, almost the same um, mix of products in all of our stores. And it will just simplify it for us as operators and for the customer, that they'll know that they'll get the exact same offering in all of our locations.
So, I've been down this road a few times with different convenience retailers that are embarking on this journey, and it's interesting because there's just so many different outcomes that some are known and really targeted as you're going in, and others are they come up really at that completion, and they start to really build over time. And if we were to fast forward right now, and you were uh, work in this, and this was considered a big success. And I'm just curious, what does that look like to you, and what does success mean to you right now in time as you begin these steps?
Yeah, so food is definitely a huge part of what we're doing. The other thing we have leaned into, we've had car washes forever, but the ultimate goal for me to be successful, we kind of have these two-pronged strategies going on at the same time, is to be able to say that between our convenience store food and our car washes to say that those actually make more money than the fuel and offset what we're doing in fuel will be the major takeaway. That, ultimately, to say it in a simple way, we become less dependent on our fuel and the profitability there. Some of that is offense, some of it's defense. We just, in our market, we have all the hypermarkets that are coming in that are way less dependent on their margin on fuel than we are. And so again, that's just a defensive move that way. Car wash, on the other hand, I think there's an opportunity for us just to give a better product, a better offering. So when you come to one of our stores, you have multiple things that you can accomplish to take care of yourself. When we talk about fueling people, right? Physically eating the food part of it, fueling your car, and then obviously maintaining and taking care of your car in the car wash. So that community feel overall is what we're really going for. And if we have people coming into our stores for multiple reasons, that's just another way for us to be sustainable into the future. That's what I'm really focused on. If you can't tell, is I would love this company to go on into the future. And so what do we need to do to position ourselves to give whoever's running it in the future the best leg up to be profitable in the future?
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the kind of key differentiating elements of your business that I've just learned a little bit about over the last few months is with your vertically integrated distribution network, and just the value that that can play not only on your retail side but also on this food service side. Do you mind just sharing a little bit about that and that division of your business? Because I think it's
Yeah,
just
so
quite interesting.
yeah, it is a little bit. So I tell people a lot of times that because of our slow growth, right? If you look at it from that perspective, we really have grown really slow over time. We have chosen to be focused on operations. So we own the real estate, we operate the stores, we own the distribution network, like you were talking about. So we have our own warehouse and bring in our own products. So we hope that, again, with the food part, that we're going to be able to lean into our own warehouse and distribution to be able to help us be more successful in the food operation side of that. So the logistics side and being able to, take care of the food side of the business a little bit better than our competition. That way, we've talked about a lot of different things that have helped us be successful. But I think it's really this combination of all of these little pieces, the self-distribution. We do our own gas trucks. I talk to a lot of companies that focus in on just one area of that. They either run the convenience store, or they have, a separate car wash, or they have a separate, transportation company, and they hire different things out. We have chosen to try to control all of those elements. So our managers know when their order is showing up. They know when things are going to happen. We have better communication between the warehouse and the C-store. We run out of less products than our competitors. All of those little things, we hope that adds to our culture of trying to continuously improve. And I think that's ultimately what will make us successful in the future, is to continue to have our eye on the ball of getting better. I think that's real. We don't know what will happen with business, but if we know that we can be successful in whatever that area takes us to, that we will be able to overcome whatever those challenges are in the future.
Mike, you've got a strong strategy here. I really love hearing it. There's some retailers that I'll hear just like kind of the Band-Aid approach, just, throw in this kind of chicken, throw in this kind of pizza, but you're not going there. You've got everything thought through, in the sense that you've got the culture side, the people. It's a really cool perspective to hear everything. You've thought of literally everything, I think. I haven't come up with anything, but one thing is, when we come back in a year, what are we going to be celebrating?
Yeah, that's what as I thought through this, to me, that's the ultimate goal that I'll be able to share maybe some numbers with you. As far as right now, we're almost a 50-50 between gas and C-store. I'd love to be able to see that C-store really take control of where we are and be less dependent on the fuel. At the end of the day, the customer is the one that really decides, right, our success. So if we can take care of our customers, and like I mentioned, I think it's really taking care of our team members and giving them the training and the coaching to be able to accomplish what they need to do, that's really what's going to make it successful in the future. So I'll be really excited in a year to be able to kind of come back and look at this. And that's why I really appreciate this invitation to go through this, to be able to document where we are. And then in a year to be able to kind of benchmark and say, all right, did we do any good? So I'll look forward to that. And it'll give me something really to work forward to for next year.
It's a date. We're going to do it. When we get off here, we're going to put it on the calendar, make sure we have it right there ready to go. So Harry, this has been amazing. I've learned so much. And Mike, it's really a pleasure just hearing everything that you talk about in your strategy. And we really appreciate you opening up and sharing all this. And I can't wait for a year from now. It's going to be interesting to hear everything.
Well, thank you. Appreciate the invitation and being here with both of you.
For sure. Well, thanks again, both of you, and also listeners. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for listening to the Future of Convenience podcast, produced by Dan Munford, Jenna Ferguson, and Lorraine Evans. It is produced and edited and mixed by Carolyn Schnare, and music is provided by Jukebox Music. Learn more at globalconvenience.com.